Hello and welcome to another C's Gearbox video. Today I am at this castle, which is called Cholmondeley. Chumley. Oh, apparently it's called Chumley. Anyway, I'm here at castle, but I'm not here to see that. I'm here to see that. Welcome to the Festival of 1,000 Classic Cars here at Cholmondeley Castle. So this is the Festival of 1,000 Classic Cars here at Cholmondeley Castle, an event that happens pretty much every September, and there's always a really good range of cars here. They claim it's going to be 1,000 cars. I'm not going to stand here and start counting. However, I think there's certainly a good few hundred cars here to see. Now, I'm not going to show you around every single one because that would take me forever, but I am going to show you some highlights from this really superb show. So we're going to start, obviously you can see the vehicle that I've bought today. It's the Pontiac Transport, and I'm here with the Auto Shambles Club stand. A bit of an eclectic mix of vehicles, a C6 and the Pontiac Transport. And amazingly, I managed to park next to a Pontiac Grand Am, which I shall go and video shortly. But there is a real range of stuff here, everything from much more kind of modern classics right the way through to pre-war stuff. And I think that's really one of the joys of this show. Let's go and see some of the highlights. So here at Cholmondeley, they are organised roughly into decades, and we start with this Aston Martin DB7 from 1997. Really the car that probably saved Aston Martin when volume was very, very low. At the Aston Martin DB7 created a higher volume of Aston Martin. Lovely next to it, a lovely Maserati as well, and a Bentley. And then we have a lovely Lexus SC 430. So we've got some good kind of late 90s, early 2000s sports cars. But if you were more of a family man, then you might like this. This is a Fiat Ulysses. So the Fiat Ulysses was a people carrier, a joint project between PSA and Fiat. So there was a Citroën version, the Synergy, a Peugeot version, the 806, and this, the Fiat version. This one is a petrol, so many of the survivors are diesel. This one is a petrol, a 2-litre, and the owner of this one has driven it here today, having driven it around Devon on holiday and all sorts of places. What a great thing to see, something that I guess would have been everywhere in the 90s, this style of people carrier, and now you just don't see anymore. Also, this Mercedes S-Class. Now, this is one of the most fantastically designed S-Classes. I absolutely love it. Sort of almost hewn from granite style look here. And this S320 in sort of a brownie colour. Really, really glorious. Moving over here, about a bit of more 90s goodness that is perhaps an everyday car that you don't see anymore. How about a Mercedes A-Class? So this is a 1999 A-Class, I think, and probably one of the very earliest A-Classes around. And this was a really revolutionary design when it came out. It was small motoring, but with a luxury badge, and of course it's very famous in the 90s for the way it came out. I'm having a few issues with the so-called elk test, where it sort of discovered that it did a bit of tipping, but has to be said, I think these have stood the test of time really well. I think it's a really lovely looking vehicle. I think, what a fantastic survivor to see. And then we turn around, we look for another fantastic small car. We've got this Renault Twingo. Twingo really never came to the UK officially. It was only ever an import. And there were quite a few imported. This one in lovely pink here as well. But a really excellent condition, small car for the masses, really very, very popular in France. If you go to France, they're sort of certainly used to be many Twingos, not so much anymore, but really funky little interior as well. Very, very, very 1990s. Do like a Twingo. Part next to that is an Alpha 146. So the 145 and the 146 were the small Alpha hatchbacks of their time. This was the longer-backed one. Next to that is a BMW 840. Now, I think these are fantastic-looking things. With a beautiful interior on that. But very 90s, pop-up headlights, big kidney grille, and a really mean-looking car. And very, very technically advanced for its time. I think it came out in maybe 93, 94, something like that. In fact, I'd take that back. I think it was earlier than that. It might be 1990, actually. But very technically advanced for its time. And I think the shape of that has aged really superbly. So a 4-litre engine, I think. I think the 850 had a 5-litre engine. But again, correct me in the comments because I could well be wrong. Oh, there's another little look at the Alpha from the front there. What a superb example that is. And again, so rare. There just aren't that many of them. Then we work down the line and we've got Focus. That Mark 1 Focus. Probably have to say, I think if I was looking at cars that I think are going to make good money in the future, I think a Mark 1 Focus would be up there, along with perhaps a Mark 1 KA and an Escort, and the Scorpio, which we've seen on a few previous videos at a few previous shows as well. Once we go back to this Escort, actually. So my parents had an Escort, an R-Edge Escort back in the day when I was growing up. It was the 1.4, I think it was the Encore edition. So it only wasn't a 3-door like this one. But good to see those as well. Let's have a little look. Over here we've got a pair of 3 Series BMW Coupes, which I think is a nice thing to see. We're going to just walk a little bit along. Oh, an MG RV8 under the shade here. So MG it was kind of revived in the mid-90s with this RV8, which was kind of seen as a bit like an MGB for the modern day. But it had, obviously, hence the name RV8, a V8 engine in it, if you can hear me over the rumble of an advancing TVR. But yeah, the RV8 it was designed to be a very classic-looking MG. And this one is, in fact, for sale, if you've got £17,000. Lovely, lovely piece of design work there. Next to another lovely Mini. And over here, once we've seen the Fiat Panda and the Chevy Camaro, a rather lovely Reliant Scimitar, an Audi Coupe. Look at an 850 T5 Saloon in purple as well. Very, very nice. As the Porsche just drives past. So some passive Ferrari action, but look at this BMW 5 Series. So this was the kind of early 90s. If you look at it, G-Reg, same year as Pontiac, but the early 90s 5 Series. My opinion, and I may be biased, it's probably because I'm a child that grew up in this era, I think this is the best looking 5 Series that they did. So really, really like that. Nice TVR, that was the one making all the noise before, with a couple of Capris. A rather nice Sierra XR4. I think that shape of Sierra really stands the test of time. And I think we recognise those little engine baffles. That is a 2CV based kit car. It looks like an HJS with the full 2-cylinder engine. Do like that very much. Now I followed this in on the way in this absolutely glorious looking Ford Transit camper van. I think in absolutely beautiful condition. Looks like an auto sleeper based on the logo, but I may be wrong there. But look at that pop top. I don't think you could do better for a little weekend away, could you, than that? Brilliant thing. My eyes are constantly darting, trying to find, how about a Fiesta? So a Mark III Fiesta on a J-Reg. Obviously the 3-door version as well, so, you know, a little bit of a sportier edge to it. Now, these Fiestas were the preserve of first cars of absolutely so many back in the 1990s. And this one is clearly the sporty version, I think. That's whether you can see the seats, but they are fantastic seats, aren't they? Very, very 1990s. Sierra, an earlier Escort again. This one is a Fiesta Bravo. And then a Sierra Sapphire as well next to it. We are in Ford Corner, it would appear. Although there is an interloping Range Rover. Oh, I love the Range Rover Classic shape, you know. Absolutely love it. I think it was just such a good shape. And obviously it lasted for so long. It came out in the mid-70s. I think it lasted up until the late 90s. A great shape. I love it when the people leave their windows open and I can have a really nice poke in the interior. Just the luxury. And when you think, obviously, 4x4s up and before the Range Rover came out, 4x4s really had been the preserve of hard work and, you know, doing jobs around the farm. And this was finally a 4x4 that could be used as personal transport and, you know, as well as the farm jobs. And that really is a watershed moment, isn't it? Because now you look at all the cars that are out today and they're all this shape. You know, so many modern SUVs look at the kind of same proportions and size. So it really was a trailblazer. And I think it's brilliant that it lasted so long as it did. This one, F-Reg, so probably 1988. I have to say that is in stunning, stunning condition. So we arrive in Saab corner where we've got, well actually specifically Saab 99 corner. Got to admit, that Saab logo is one of my favourite car logos of all time. I do love that Saab logo. But this Saab 99 is the non-turbo Saab. And next to it is the Saab 99 Turbo, which is probably the more famous of the two. And really very nice looking thing. The curved windscreens on these Saabs really are a thing of beauty. And I love the wheels on the turbo as well. 89? Oh my goodness me. I can't get it. On my 18th birthday. Right, let's look at the Retro Butte stand, because there's an absolute Retro Buttes here. There's like the Sierra Sapphire. It's a 4x4 version here. And we all know, don't we? We know how much I love a Vauxhall Nova. A lovely, I think that'll be a 1.4 SR version as well from the 90s, the facelifted version, but again, a really wonderful 90s car. Let's have a little look at this one. This one is a Renault 5, and again, this one looks like it's got some lovely Renault turbo wheels on it, tastefully modified, but this one does look like it is a genuine GT turbo, so the kind of sportier version. Very, very nice looking there. Of course, enjoying a bit of a fanfare at the moment, isn't it? The Renault 5. And this is an NSU R080, powered, of course, by a Wankel engine. No, I didn't just call you a rude name. Wankel. It is a rotary engine, which was sort of seen at one point to possibly be the future of engines. However, they didn't prove themselves to be all that reliable, and the NSU R080 did suffer with the reputation of not being the most reliable car. It is, however, I think, a really beautiful car. I love the design of these. In fact, I'm going to duck under the tape to have a little look at this, to give you the full view of the R080. Such an attractive looking car. Look at that badge. One thing's very much to be enjoyed. Okay, so here we go. Past another Sierra. Another Sierra here. Do enjoy the Sierra. This one's a facelifted one, so a slightly different front from the original jelly mould. And then another Mark 1 Fiesta next to what looks like a Metro 6R4. Now I wonder if it's an original 6R4 or a Metro that's had a body kit fitted, but I don't really mind because it is an awesome looking thing. So mean, of course, the Metro 6R4, it was sort of done for rallying in the 80s, and the 6R4 was produced as a kind of road-going car, I think, for homologation purposes, however you say that word. I think what an absolutely brilliant looking car. Next to that is a Ferrari Dyno replica. And then, let's not forget that Reliant made four-wheeled vehicles. This is a Kitten, four-wheel Kitten. Everyone thinks about the three-wheeled Robins, but the Kitten there. Another Sierra. And I think I filmed this Skoda Rapid before. It's the one that says 5-speed on the back. Oops, I nearly got that out of shot there. But I have to say, I think in terms of quality of vehicles, Retro Buttes, well done there. Possibly my favourite stand of the show. So some cars of the 90s here, a lovely W124 Mercedes E-Class and another 3 Series BMW next to this Rover 200, an R8 200, which I think I've waxed lyrical about before. The Jaguar X-Type was one of those retro revival looking cars of the early 2000s, and I think quite a successful job done. I've never driven one. I'd like to. And this Bristol, I think this is a 410, which nobody was stood next to when I first started to try and film it, and now all of a sudden there's loads of people. But this is a Bristol. I think this one is a 410, although I'm not totally sure, because Bristols look fairly similar, in fairness. They didn't evolve a huge amount during their lifespan. But underneath the bonnet here, I believe, is a V8 engine, which I think I overheard the owner saying before is somewhat thirsty. But really, the Bristol Motor Company made very, very luxurious, bespoke cars, for sort of well-heeled individuals from London. And they made cars that actually didn't change a huge amount right the way through from the 70s through to certainly the late 90s, early 2000s, and I think always with the big V8 engines in them. But the earlier Bristols used to have a really clever thing where the spare wheel was actually hidden into the side of the wing. We're going to look and see if it's got a little wing hatch on this one. No, it doesn't look like it has. They used to be kind of sort of there in the wing. They used to have a little panel that lifted up. Very, very clever thing. But you can tell it's luxury. We can see in the see inside there. Like sitting on an armchair. Got to admit, I think that is beautiful. One of the things about Cholmondeley Castle is the sort of single make club stands that are everywhere, and I'm here amongst the Jaguars to look at this XJS convertible. So the XJS, of course, replaced the E-Type and was not universally loved straight away, but I think has aged really, really well. And the convertible in particular, was really quite an attractive car in its time. I'm wondering if this one's a V12.
Now, is that the original engine? Yeah. What about...
Indeed it is. So this one is a V12 engine, so certainly not built for economy, but a really superb looking car. And amongst here we've got, of course, many other Jaguars as well, that we're in amongst the Jaguar Club. And over here, it's not a Corvette Owners Club, but it is the Jensen Owners Club. And let's have a look at this. This is the Jensen SV8. Now the SV8, very, very few SV8s were actually made. Possibly around 30 or so SV8s that were made, and came out in the kind of 2000, featuring a Ford V8 engine. And an incredible low volume car. And the kind of wine red interior, absolutely superbly beautiful. So it never quite took off in the way that perhaps Jensen had hoped that it would, which I think is a real shame, because I think it's a really nice retro revival of a car. Limited to 155 miles an hour on its top speed. I've just spotted the little crib sheet here. Really excellent looking car. So, as well as the SV8 rarity, there are several Jensen Interceptors, possibly the coolest named car of all time. Got to love an Interceptor, and there are 4 Interceptors here today. And then, if you just look through here, you'll also find, I think, the better looking Jensen. This is a 541. And it really is an absolute stunner. I think one of the best looking cars you'll ever see. And the chrome on those, absolutely beautiful. It's just things like this, the lovely side mouldings and the design around the back.
Oh, we've got a sitter. Come on, Seth, let's have you next to the cortina.
Wonderful.
Oh, we've got that lovely little lady.
And then the Jensen. This is a Morris Minor. How about that one? Jensen CV8. Another stunning, the evolution of the other one behind us, but stunning cars. Stunning cars. Oh, although, I do love that. Is quiet as anything. Running like clockwork. Beautiful car. Okay, we are in 1960s and 70s coupe zone now because I'm going to show you 4 absolutely stunning coupes. This is an Opel GT. Very, very rare thing, this. Stunning in its orange. So the Opel GT, I think based on something a little bit bigger originally, but that one is an absolutely beautiful condition. Left-hand drive, so I'm wondering if they were perhaps never officially imported to the UK. But the front with its beautiful pop-up headlights, a really stunning thing to see. Now you see that Opel GT and then you can compare it against this. Look at the Alpine up here. So the Alpine here, again, a beautiful piece of design, very contemporary, so an L reg to a J reg. But this, you know, it's the little details. It's things like the hinges on the bonnet, the air intakes on the rear because it is rear engined. Things like that. The Alpine Renault, really stunning. And then you turn round and you've got, of course, an MG-C. This one is the V8 version. Again, a lovely piece of design. And my 4th beautiful coupe of the 60s and 70s is probably my favourite. This is a Lotus Europa. Lotus Europa was a superb piece of design in my eyes. A really stunning vehicle. Looks almost slightly pick-upy, doesn't it? But rear engine again, I think. But the Europa was made famous, I think it was in one of the series of Avengers. One of the foils to John Steed had a Lotus Europa. Look at that. Wonderful. Let's take a short walk down the Saab line, so another lovely 900 turbo. And this a beautiful green coloured 900 turbo as well. There's something special about that colour, but I can't think what, but it is a very beautiful colour. And this is a 93X, kind of slightly chunkier looking one, and of course, random plate late Saab, one of the last of the 93s. It's the Saab Owners Club representing, and we've got some Mercedes over here as well. That's a lovely one. And green one lives in the same village as me, would you believe? And over here, I've talked before on the channel about my love for a Triumph Dolomite, but I am just going to scoot around this one because I think those 2 colours are my 2 favourite Dolomite colours, vermilion orange and the lovely yellow. Absolutely outstanding. But the one I had, as I think I've mentioned before, was that colour, Brooklands Green. Very much like that one. Superb, superb show. Absolutely crazily good cars as far as the eye can see. Look at this Jaguar over here. I'm going to just beeline for it quickly. That is beautiful. Really stunning, beautiful car. Unbelievable. All in the nice settings of the castle grounds. So, as I said, I've brought the Pontiac Transport with me today to Cholmondeley Castle, and a lovely thing it was too. And look at the joy I got. I got a part next to another white Pontiac. So this is a Pontiac Grand Am, and the Grand Am, a coupe Pontiac with some really lovely comfortable seats in it. Look very similar to the seats in mine. The Grand Am had a, I think, 2.5 litre 4-cylinder engine in it. And it's actually used quite regularly by the owner as a bit of a daily driver. It looks some of the same kind of side mouldings, very similar design cues. The headlights on this one quite similar to some of the European spec headlights you could get on the Transport as well. but so many similarities. A really lovely thing. Grand Dam. Also here with the Auto Shambles stand is lovely Vauxhall Omega. Again, something which used to be very regular, but now the Omega Barrera. And a Rover 45 as well. A feeling I reckon there's going to be a Rover 45 in my future at some point. A nice Land Rover. Into the back to what may be the most cosmetically challenged Citroen C6 going. But do you know what? If you're driving a C6, who cares if it's cosmetically challenged? Because look at that design. I think one of my favourite features ever of any post-2000 car is this wonderful curved back window. An exceptional thing. Also with us from Auto Shambles, we have a lovely Rover P4. Two-tone gloriousness. And a Volvo C30. And then there are plenty of others who've interloped in. We've got to have two Rolls Royces who've joined us on Auto Shambles stand today. And a nice Mini. A very yellow Mustang. Not embodying the spirit of Auto Shambles like the C6 and the Transport. This very lovely modified truck on the end as well. Keep it on the American theme. Look at this. Cadillac as well.
Everybody honestly thought it was
STS. A lovely V8. Well, that is it from here at the Festival of 1,000 Classic Cars here at Cholmondeley Castle, which you can still just about see in the background if I angle the camera correctly and not too much on the Transport. But hope you very much enjoyed watching this video. Like, subscribe, all that jazz, and we'll see you with the Pontiac in another video at some point in the future. Bye-bye now.
Cholmondeley Castle? Cholmondeley Castle. Cholmondeley Castle. How is that Chumley?